Okay, welcome to the assessment training video of the Tennessee Tech Sports Nutrition Internship Program. And today we have Matt and Jesse with us, two of our nutrition interns that are going to be showing y'all how to do an assessment on an athlete. We'll be covering three parts of the assessment. Number one is going to be how to use the BEI scale. We're going to go over how to do circumference measurements, and then finally how to do the skin caliper test. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with that. We'll go through a demonstration with both a male and female volunteer, and feel free to pause this video at any time, rewind, and go through these skills so that they're like muscle memory for you. It's really important to be able to do this uninterrupted in a session and to be confident in the way that you take these measurements. Use this, practice it, and then when you're doing it on an athlete, it'll feel like second nature. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on how we use the BEI measuring scale. Let's flip around here. Okay, and the scale is plugged in, but we can move it over here. All right. I'll tell you what, Jesse. You want to come step over here? Okay. All right. So this is the interface for the scale, and I'll be showing you how to use this here in a second. And then the scale, let me pick up my webcam, is down here. Okay, and so the participants use it by stepping onto the contacts. We'll go over all of that. Okay. Now the first thing to use this BEI, it does through the contact of the skin through the feet, and then we also need to take a height. So two things to accomplish with that is we're going to have the participants. Say hi, y'all.
Hey guys.
We're going to have our participants remove their socks and shoes so they have bare feet. Okay. All right, so ladies first. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to use our device here. I'm going to mispronounce it, stadiometer, our height-o-meter. So your athlete will step, okay, good. Your athlete will step in, instruct them to stand up real tall and just kind of stretch for good posture and bring it down, and you're going to take a measurement there. Okay, so I have my athlete's measurement. Go ahead and step out. And I need to know this because I'm going to be putting it into the device here. Now I like to just leave it where it's at because I forget numbers easily. So when I'm pushing all this in, if I forget what the number is, I can just go back and reference it. Okay, so here is the interface for this. So the first thing you're going to do is turn it on. Okay, and then it's going to ask you for a weight for clothes. And what I like to do is I just like to estimate between 1 and 2 pounds. If they look like they're wearing heavy clothes like jeans and such, I'll estimate 2 pounds. Otherwise, I just estimate 1 pound. Okay. So you're going to put that in. Then it's going to ask for body type, either standard or athletic. If you're working with athletes that are training multiple times per week, you're going to put in athletic. You guys aren't playing any sports right now? Okay, so we're going to do standard. It's going to ask for gender. I'm going to select appropriate gender. And then how old are you, Jessie?
I'm 20.
Okay, so we'll enter in her age. And then hit enter. And it prompts you for all of these, and then we're going to enter in her height. And I actually forgot, so I'm going to check that again real quick. Okay, so we're going to enter in her height. And you can put in half. So she's 5'2.5", so I'll put 5'2", and enter that in. Okay, so now the scale is going to beep, and it's going to have the step on light that turns on. Okay, then what you're going to instruct the athlete to do is to step on the scale. So let's go ahead and get you on the scale here. And you can see that I'm making sure, I don't know if you can see this in the video. Yeah, that her heels and the front of her feet are on the contacts on both sides, and do not let them step off the scale until it starts printing off a ticket. Okay? Now that information is going to remain confidential because we use HIPAA for all of our clients. So that'll go to the athlete, and we'll use that here in a second. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and pause this. It's the same for men. You're just going to do it, enter in the numbers and the entries according to a male client. All right, so we're going to stop, and then the next thing I'm going to show you all how to do is the circumference measurements. Okay, so with Matt as our camera assistant, I will be doing the circumference measurements on Jesse here. And don't get ahead of yourself. I'm going to explain what all of these numbers mean in a different part of either this video or in another video. So we'll go over the measurements that the BEI scale and the body fat calipers and all this goes. But right now I'm just showing you the mechanics of how to do the assessment. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do on both a male and a female athlete, and it's a little bit different, so just pay attention to the nuances. Okay, bring this up forward just a little bit. Okay, so the way that I do the assessment is I like to start with the hips and move my way down, and then I end with the upper body. So for your client, what you're going to have them do is step sideways to you, and then you're going to tell them where you're going to be measuring, so there's no surprises. For the hips, what I like to measure around is the glutes, and you want to get around the biggest part of the glutes because that's the part that changes. I don't want to measure bone structure. We're looking at what nutrition can change. Can it change the muscle? Can it change the fat? And we're looking in those areas. So I'm going around the biggest parts of the glutes. So if you'll pan down just a little bit, Matt. So what I like to do is I like to take a knee and put one knee up so that I'm here at that level. The other thing you'll notice is I'm to the side. This is so that my face isn't in my client's crotch. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to say I'm going to come around your glutes here. So I like to come around the waist, grab the tape, and then come across the middle part, or what I think the biggest part of the glutes are. I'm not going to squeeze tight. I'm just going to make sure it's snug, and I'm going to record that measurement. Now, while I'm already down here, I'm going to instruct my client to step cowboy stance like you're riding a horse, and she will assume a straddle stance. Once again, I'm to the side. Okay, this keeps things professional. I'm going to find the biggest part of the thigh. This is the thigh measurement. I come in the middle. Okay, so you're going to come around here, and then come up, pull it snug, not tight, and get about halfway between the top of the hip bone and the kneecap. Okay. The third measurement I'm going to do on the lower body is going to be around the calf. I'm just looking for the biggest part of the calf here, the middle part of the calf, and once again from the side, come around, hold the measuring tape tight, snug, and take the measurement. So now that we've done the hips, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do around the waist. Now that'll actually be the first measurement that we'll do. For this one, you'll have the client in front of you. You reach around, and then you'll find either the navel or just the biggest part of the waist here, the belly, so that we can take that measurement and pull it snug, take the measurement, and then record that. You also want to make sure that your client isn't wearing anything really tight, because that can change the measurement. So if they have a really tight belt on, or they're wearing like some of that Under Armour or anything like that, you may want to instruct them before they start the assessment not to wear stuff like that, or at least make a note and take it into account, because you can't always send an athlete home. Sometimes you just have to do it. Not everyone remembers to do everything. Now, here's the difference on how we're going to measure chest for a female client. You're going to have them stand sideways to you. And I like to give the cue, stand up Frankenstein, like that. You know, you're walking around Frankenstein. And you're going to reach around here from the side, go ahead and pull the tape measure out, and then come across the biggest part of the chest, of the bust, and then record that measurement from the side. Okay? This is to help keep things professional. Now, I'm going to come across the shoulders. And to do the shoulder, everyone has kind of a different shoulder slope, and it can be hard to pull the tape measure snug. For this, I'm going to come across the back, and I'm just going to try to come up as high as I can while still being able to keep the tape measure tight. And I'm just going to come across here and take that measurement. Now, the final measurement we do for the upper body is going to be the upper arm. And for this, I just have the client stand to the side. And we're not going to do a flexed arm. We know, of course, that'll be bigger. I like to just do a relaxed arm, upper arm, and we're just going to go between the shoulder and the elbow here. Come across the middle, pull it snug, and then take the measurement. And that's how you do this in a female client. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop, and I'm going to show you how to do this on a male client. Very similar, just a couple of differences. Is it with me? Okay, now we have our male athlete, Matt here, and we're going to start off, we should have done this with a female, because I like to start off in the belly and the navel. And I'm going to come across, instruct the athlete what you're doing. I'm coming across your belly here, and you can ask them to point to their belly button. So I'm going to have him point to his belly button. And then you can also kind of take the biggest area of that. So some people, it's a little bigger, just like an inch lower. I want to come across the biggest area because, remember, that's the part that changes. I'm looking for nutrition changes. Where does the fat change? Where does the muscle build? And that's why you can kind of just find that out. So you'll take the measurement, make sure it's snug, record that. Have the athlete stand to the side, instruct him to put his feet together. He'll kind of pan down a little bit. And once again, I'm going to take a knee, and I'm going to come across his glutes. So we'll come across here, just as we did for the female. Take that. I'll have him step out to the side. I'm going to come across his thigh, just like we do for everybody. And then, in the same stroke, I'm going to come down and get his calf. Okay? You'll be able to do this so it's very fluid. Boom, 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 boom. Now for the male, you're going to come across the chest. You can do that from the front. So I just say arms up. I fish around through. I say arms down. Just come across the nipple line, the biggest part of the chest, and pull it snug here and take the measurement. Same thing as we do for every other male or female with the shoulders. We're come across here, take the measurement, and keeping everything nice, fast, and fluid, I come across the arm and take that measurement. That's how you do the circumference measurements. Okay, the final point of our measurement taking portion of the assessment, we're going to do a skin caliper test. Okay, now just as an aside, the reason why we do the BEI in the circumference in the skin fold caliper is because we don't have a $100,000 piece of machine for a bod pod, for a DEXA scanner, or what have you. Okay, and these measurements alone are not going to be super valid, maybe not super accurate. But if I do all three of them, I can get a pretty good assessment of where the athlete is going. I can start making trends, and I can have a pretty good assessment of their body composition as well. So what I like to do is a 3 skin fold caliper test. You can do a 5-site, you could do a 7-site, I believe. And the reason I do 3 is just for sake of time. We have 100 athletes on the football team. We have hundreds of other athletes. It gets to be a lot. So what we're going to do with the female athletes is we're going to do triceps on the back of the arm, above the suprailiac, and then above the quadricep. So let's go ahead and demonstrate that one first. Matt, if you'll help me with the camera crew here. Okay. All right. So for the female client, you're just going to, a lot of people haven't done a skin fold caliper test before, and it can seem scary, but it doesn't hurt. A lot of times they'll say, hey, if you show me your hand, I'll show you. That doesn't hurt, does it? Okay. And then it just makes the assessment a lot less scary. Then you want to inform your athlete where you're going to be doing the assessment. So for you, we're going to do the back of the arm. I'm going to do it here above the hip bone, and then here on the quadricep. Okay? That way there's no surprises. So go ahead and turn and face that way. And what you're going to do is you're going to measure visually. And the reason why we don't use the measuring tape here is for speed. You need to be able to do these assessments quickly. I like to put my hand on the elbow and on the top of the shoulder and take an estimate of where the middle of the tricep is. Okay? I'm going to use the caliper. I'm going to pinch and try to pull the fat away from the muscle, not hard, but just enough, and then pinch right in the middle of there and let the caliper come to a rest and take that measurement. Why don't we go ahead and take this, and if you can kind of zoom up on that. There. Here, I'm going to have you turn just slightly here, Emily. Okay, you got that, Matt? Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to estimate where it is here. I'm going to pull apart, and I'm going to put that right there, and then take the measurement. If I get two measurements that are the same, then I don't do a third measurement. If I get two measurements that are not the same, I take a third measurement, and I take the average of those three. Okay? Then you're going to have the athlete face you. Okay? Now for the suprailiac, what we do is we say point to the top of your hip bone, and we're going to do all this on the right side. So yeah, you're right, my right, our right. And I like to take a knee here. And so I find the top of the hip bone here. You're going to come about an inch to the right, and you're going to pinch the biggest part of the suprailiac. So you're kind of going at a diagonal here. So point to the top of your hip bone for me here, the very top of the iliac crest, or the very top of the hip bone here. Okay, so here's the top. Here's where I feel the top of the hip bone is. Okay, I'm going to come about an inch to the side, and then kind of take a diagonal pinch here. You're going to come across, and you're going to pinch just like that, and you're going to take that measurement. Okay, that's how you do that for the female. Then what you're going to do for the quadricep is going to be the same in both male and female. You're going to instruct them to put their right heel over their left toe like that. And what that does is two things. Number one is it relaxes the quad so I can get a good measurement, but it also often throws the athlete off balance. So it's nice to let them hold on to a shelf or the wall, or sometimes I'll put a chair to the side. Okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to find the point between the knee and once again the top of the hip bone, which a lot of people think the middle of the thigh is right here. It's usually going to be up a little bit higher. Okay? So you're just going to pinch as much as you can here. You're going to come around. You're going to take that measurement. You're going to do two measurements. If it's the same, then you're going to record that measurement. So once again, we do right here on the tricep, here on the iliac crest, and here on the quadricep. I recommend that you practice this often. Make sure that it goes very smoothly and it's committed to muscle memory, because this is something that does require skill, and the more accurate and consistent you can get with this, the better it makes this measurement. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, and then I'm going to show you how to do this on a male client. Okay, so now for part two, I'm going to show you how to do the skin fold caliper measurements on the male client. Some people like to have the male clients remove their shirts to do this. It's not really necessary as long as they're not wearing like a really, really thick piece of clothing. So most cotton fabric is just fine. Just you can take that camera off, and if you want to kind of get a little bit closer here. Okay. So the way that we do this is that I want to find kind of the crease of the shoulder here, and then also where the nipple is. Okay? And so what you're going to do is you're going to pinch to the side. You pinch to the side, and you're going to pull that skin away. It's at a diagonal. Can you maybe take a knee mat or? Yeah. Okay. Can we get a little bit closer here? Okay, cool. All right, so here's the nipple, here's the crease of the shoulder. We're going to get right in the middle at a diagonal pinch. I'm going to pinch, I'm going to pull it away. Oops, and I'm going to take that measurement. I'm not holding it at the very base. I'm not holding it at the very tip. I'm trying to get kind of in the middle where I can pinch that layer of fat and skin. Just like that. Let it rest, take the measurement, do it twice, do it 3 times if needed. Okay, you can go stand up. So that's the difference. You are not going to do this measurement this way on a female. Okay, remember that. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a abdominal pinch. Now this is different than the suprailiac. Come forward a little bit here, Matt. Okay, so here's Matt's belly button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find his belly button and I'm going to come about an inch to the right. Okay, and I'm going to do a vertical pinch here. I'm not doing the suprailiac. I'm coming, leaving some space between the belly button, getting enough of that skin, and doing the vertical pinch here. Okay, I'm not pinching way down at the base. I'm not pinching at the top. I'm kind of pinching a couple of millimeters below my fingers. Let it rest, get the measurement 2 times, 3 times if needed. Okay, once again, I'll just show you the quadricep. And you're going to have him put his heel up here and to kind of bend and relax the knee. You're going to take that measurement here on the quad, right there, just like we did with the female. It's not different on quadricep for men or women. And you're going to enter those numbers, and that's how you do the skin fold caliper test. Okay.